Julia Samuel is a grief specialist and psychologist who's supporting Celebration Day, a national event that encourages people to come together, share stories and commemorate their loved ones who have passed away, fostering a positive and uplifting approach to grief. And Julia joins us now. How are you today?
Very well, and very happy to be talking about this important Celebration Day.
Can you tell us a little bit about Celebration Day and why it's so important for us to come together and remember our loved ones in this positive way?
Celebration Day is really important that we remember those that have loved, because the people that we loved, they have died, but our love of them and the relationship with them continues. Yeah. So developing a yearly ritual of Celebration Day on the 28th of May to remember them in our very individual and different ways is incredibly powerful and restorative. And it may be talking to a friend, it may be looking at a photograph, it may be cooking the loved one's favourite meal, but they then become part of us in our life, although they have died.
When we talk about grief and when we talk about loved ones who have passed away, it's always a sad occasion, really, and sad thoughts. So do you think this is maybe a way to reclaim them, I suppose, and have a day where you can be positive about them?
I think that's a lovely way of saying it. It is reclaiming them, and that we can celebrate them and all the kind of funny things, the joyous things, the silly things. And research shows that 77% of people think it's important to remember and talk about those that have died, and 85% believe it should be done positively. So kind of bringing joy and the joy of that person into their life, although they're no longer physically present.
So why do you think discussing bereavement and death is often considered a taboo subject?
I think we have this kind of fear of the unknown, and we also have a kind of magical thinking, is that if I think about death, maybe it'll make it happen. And so if I kind of forget and don't talk about it, it'll happen to other people. And I think part of Celebration Day, as much as it is a joyous day, it is also kind of reminding us of our mortality. And I think then we kind of recognize how precious every day of our lives is. And that can be a very significant way of kind of being grateful for the life we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Celebration Day, what would you say the benefits are of sharing stories and rituals and tales of the loved ones?
I think it brings them back into our lives and honours them, and we kind of can see them in us, and so that relationship with them continues. And I think that builds us resilience in us psychologically, but also coming together as a community, as a family, with neighbours or friends, and talking about the people that have died. I think grief is often very isolating and very lonely. So doing it by having a picnic with other people, I think, is very connected. And that is how we kind of build resilience within ourselves and in our communities.
Yeah. So why do you think there is such a lack of opportunities for us to come together like that? Is it still the taboo?
I think it's the taboo, and there's fear. And I think people are frightened of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. And so that's why this day is so kind of universal. There isn't a particular way of doing it. It's not religion-based or kind of in any way a kind of formal ritual. But people can be quirky and creative in how they want to celebrate and remember the people who have died.
And what is the best way to remember the people who have died? And I suppose, does it depend on people's preferences?
I think it is very unique. I think this can be a kind of kicking off point for people of when they're coming together and celebrating, they can recognise that remembering and talking about them, it may be kind of, it might be bittersweet that there's some sadness, but also that it helps them kind of thrive. And so that you can remember people, every day, but coming together on a particular day, I think, is very helpful.
And what advice would you have for somebody who's maybe hesitant to take part in Celebration Day, or is maybe unsure about how to get other people involved or how to go about it?
I think people who are hesitant, it's always important to do small steps, not big things. So if you can think about what you could manage, maybe for you, it would be on your own and toasting the person that you love in front of a photograph. But then the next time you do it, you may get someone round to come and do it with them, so that you kind of keep the target it quite low, and see how you feel, that you feel kind of warmed and close to the person that's died by remembering them.
What long-term effects do you hope Celebration Day will have? Do you think it will try and break that taboo?
I think it is a part of breaking the taboo, of kind of recognizing how important the people who have been part of our lives, who have died, and that we need to remember them and honor them, and that can build us with strength as we live our lives. And also coming together as communities, I think, is really important, and finding ways like Celebration Day on the 28th of May is a lovely way of connecting with other people.
Yeah, because I think we saw recently with the coronation that a lot of communities generally, if there's an excuse maybe or just any reason to come together, the community will do it.
I think you're so right. I think instinctively we are kind of connecting communities. We want to connect with other people, but we kind of resist it because we're frightened of being rejected, or we're frightened that we're asking too much of others. And if there's something that's already in place that gives us an in to connect with other people, I think that's a lovely opportunity.
Well, where are we able to go to find out more information about Celebration Day?
So head to Celebration Day with a hashtag Celebration Day, and you can find it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, or LinkedIn. And the website is celebrationday.com.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today, and have a great Celebration Day.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you, Toby.